As long as there has been technological innovation, humans have been afraid of change, scared about the potential job losses that new inventions and automation will bring. Humans have come up with all sorts of amazing things that have changed the way we live and work, from the wheel to the printing press to the internet or the recent rise of artificial intelligence. But with each new invention, there have always been people who have feared the unknown and worried about what the future might hold. Take the recent rise of ChatGPT, for example. This chatbot is powered by a type of artificial intelligence known as natural language processing, which allows it to understand and respond to human language as if it's one of us humankind. ChatGPT can, for example, not only take over simple office tasks such as handling data entries, scheduling appointments, or answering frequently asked questions, but it is also capable of more complex tasks such as programming or web designing. But before we can answer if and if yes, when such artificial intelligence applications will replace humans at work, we need to go back almost 300 years in time. Back to when the first industrial revolution started and transformed our economy from agriculture to industry. Driving forces were the effective use of coal and the development of the steam engine to power first mechanical machines. That was probably the first time that people voiced a concern that automation might displace workers and potentially lead to a lot of unemployment. I mean, just imagine, until the first industrial revolution, people spun and wove raw cotton by hand in their homes until the larger power looms were invented that increased the output of a worker by a factor of around 500. And ever since, with each new wave of invention, people's voices have become louder and louder, fearing change by technology and the potential loss of jobs. This concern was even raised in a letter to US President Lyndon B. Johnson in 1964, where a group of academics claimed that the US was on the brink of economic and social upheaval because industrial automation was going to put millions of people out of work. But let's see what actually happened. After the first industrial revolution, there was the second, then the third, and even the fourth now with the internet, big data, or cloud computing. And where was humankind left? Certainly always better off after than prior the revolution, with more jobs, better jobs, safer work environments, or higher standards of living in general. But what's next? What does the future now hold with artificial intelligence and chatbots acting like humans? Maybe now it's time to ask ourselves if this time it's different and the current technological shifts will actually make things worse than better. Let's find out. In 2013 already, the working world was shaken up by a study of two researchers from Oxford University that claimed that according to their estimates, about 47% of the total US employment was at risk due to computerization, meaning job automation by means of computer-controlled equipment. They basically claim that half of US jobs could be automated relatively easy and soon. But what actually happened is a little bit different. The US labor market constantly grew ever since this paper was published, now employing more than 10% more full-time employees. On top of that, the OECD found in a 2016 study that only 9% of jobs across the OECD countries are automatable. Specifically looking at the US, they say they find only 9% of jobs again, rather than the 47% as proposed by Frey and Osborne, the guys from Oxford, face high automatability. The OECD study was following a task-based rather than an occupation-based approach. So they looked at individual tasks, part of people's overall jobs that could be automated. But still, if every 10th task of your job is being automated, you might end up with less work and less salary. Or if you're unlucky and have a job that has a higher share of tasks being automated, you might end up being fired because the remaining tasks that are manual are being consolidated and done by a fewer people. That would be a very simple and not well thought through conclusion from this paper, which is of course not completely right. Driven by artificial intelligence, there will certainly be a shift in the job market that also affects you. but maybe in a different way than you actually thought. What's clear is that all industries will be affected by artificial intelligence. Some more, such as retail or transport and logistics, and some less, such as telecommunications. For sure, there are use cases where AI can be deployed more effectively than in others. That's, for example, in service operations, product creation and enhancement, or marketing and sales. That is confirmed by ChatGPT itself. Having asked the questions where it could help out in office jobs, it tells me that it could potentially replace humans for data entry work, generating reports, or handle customer service inquiries. Even more scary and going beyond business into tech, ChatGPT tells me that it knows a variety of different programming languages such as Python, C++, Java, or HTML, where it could provide basic assistance. Though it tells me that it is not yet capable of providing in-depth, detailed assistance with coding tasks or projects, that might come faster than you wish for and your programming or web designing job is made redundant. After all those negative news, now you might wonder what's left after AI tools and chatbots have taken over the labor market. But no worries, there is plenty of room to develop and play, even beyond current imagination. Just look at the farmers that lost their job during the first industrial revolution. The jobs that replaced them were unimaginable to those farmers. Their descendants became web designers or mortgage brokers. That's what the co-founder of Wired magazine says in an interview to IBM, and what's still true today. Most likely there will be jobs emerging that we cannot even think about because they are so abstract and not yet existing today. But in the meantime, there's also quite concrete skills that you can build to resist being replaced by artificial intelligence. The top 3 skills that the future workforce will need are technological, social and emotional, and higher cognitive skills. That's where a shift in skills and working hours will take place too, away from rather physical and manual as well as basic cognitive tasks. And that's where you can and should find your sweet spot. Cultivate skills such as mathematics, verbal and written communication, people management, problem solving, or critical thinking. Also make sure to develop your emotional intelligence and your ability to work with people of all kinds. Translating those skills into jobs, there will always be the need for teachers, social workers, medical professionals, therapists, or management professionals. Of course, their job will also change and be facilitated by AI, but their core lies in those skills that cannot yet be taken over by machines. And not to forget, there will be an increasing need in software, data or machine learning engineers, AI data scientists, or data architects. There will also be the need for creatives of all kinds. Yes, artificial intelligence can write, compose music, or even draw, having already competed against humans and won. But what AI cannot yet do is go beyond just random creativity. Or how John Smith, manager of multimedia and vision at IBM Research, put it, it's easy for AI to come up with something novel that's just randomly. But it's very hard to come up with something that is novel, unexpected and useful. So whenever you have doubts about artificial intelligence, such as ChatGPT, taking your job, just reflect on the essentials that a robot cannot yet bring to the table, such as understanding human needs, sharing about personal life and experiences, providing an emotional, personal touch to stories, or critically thinking about what is being said and done. Also, you might want to trust in the future that might hold unexpected new jobs for us that we cannot yet think about. But if you're currently multitasking at work because you think you can outperform others or machines, watch this video next, where I will share with you why multitasking is actually super bad and destroys your productivity and life.